stay. It's really important you stay. I know it's time out of your lives and you're all busy and you have a life. I have a life too. But I took this time, and there's 3 cities she's coming to right now in Florida. These are cities that are going to be blessed to hear what she has to say. And whatever you hear today, you need to tell other people. Diane Rowden has been, and this is not a political push for her. I want you to know, Diane, this is her heart. Diane Rowden has been hand in hand working with me in Hernando Beach. And we've been able to push through some things up in Tallahassee already that me sitting in my office never could have done alone. But between Diane and I, and then the signatures and things that I got, and people coming up to the rallies, and the news people coming in and filming for us, I mean, they're a big part of this, you know. Give them a chance too. They really are trying to help us. They can work hand in hand with us because they can get our word out, what we need, what we're concerned about. And I know as residents, you guys are concerned. And one of the things we're going to talk about is the possibility of a hurricane coming in. We get a lot of questions about
Just
that.
remind me. I'm gonna just say a bit, and then we're gonna open up the questions, so I'm specifically answering what it is you're worried about. But I just kind of want to throw a gamut of things out there for you, and I want to say something that's going to cheer Jesse up. Okay.
Okay.
Put him down in the dumps.
This list that you guys signed, I don't want you to think it's anything weird. I promise I won't sell it to anyone. Now, this is so that I can contact you guys and let you know when more things like this are going on, because I know you want to be informed. That's why you're here. So that don't have any fear of what you signed. That's the whole purpose behind it. So I'll let her take over. I am at Hernando Beach Seafood. We have a small sign, it's kind of by the fence. It's right past the Coast Guard Auxiliary Station on the left there. If I can get them out, my car, I'll have my cards. You guys can grab one of my cards if you just want to be able to call me and see what else is happening. So, all right, there you go.
Okay, I want to say that I'm just going to jump to long-term damage. And that is that in Alaska, it's cold. And the oil basically got preserved. The bacteria don't work very well on the beaches. You do have more oil here, but it's a lot warmer. So if, you know, you can't really project when things are going to get better until you stop doing the harm. And what I'm seeing is the harm is going on, you know, while there's young things in the water column, eggs and larvae, and just what happened to us. So there's for sure going to be holes, things missing, you know, that are, when they grow up, they're just not going to be there because they died. But you have a much bigger ecosystem. If you think of an ecosystem like a bunch of threads woven together, you might have a lot. In our ecosystem, there's just a few threads. You pull out herring, the whole darn thing collapses. But here, if you pull out a few things, it might not all collapse. So we don't really know. But I'm thinking, you know, our herring fishermen still are not fishing. Our pink salmon fishermen are. I know, so our guys are incurring some debt from something that happened 21 years ago. You know, but I'm going to make a personal pledge to Jesse that if fishing's still bad, when you get around to it, you just come up to Alaska with your dad and we'll find you a job, okay? Because I got a lot of good friends up there, and people fish with their families. So put you on a boat with another kid your age and you'll have a ball, okay? All right? Okay, so where the heck was I? Talking about sound truth. Ecosystem. Okay, well I think
Hurricane.
Hurricanes. Okay, thank you. Our pink salmon did eventually recover. Our herring did not, and that's a huge problem because herring underpin our ecosystem. So scientists are just shrugging their shoulders right now. They've never. This is the first oil spill that has been studied to this extent. Hundreds of millions of dollars were poured into studying it. We know that oil causes long-term harm. We know that now. Scientists aren't going to be saying that anymore unless they're ex-oil industry scientists. They got kind of a different story. Because Exxon science showed that nothing caused harm. What was the problem here? And I cover their science in Sound Truth too. And I minored in statistics for my doctorate. And it's how you set the study up, what questions you ask going in, that's going to tell you what you want to know in the answer. And Exxon set it up basically to not answer questions. They would have missed an elephant if it was in the room, right? But anyway, okay, so hurricanes. All right, well, let me just back up and let me get to hurricanes this way, which is one of the other big reasons I came down here was because we put, you know, people went out. This is our backyard. This is our defense. I mean, fishermen were like, let's get in the boats, let's go, let's clean this mess up. We didn't know that you can't really clean up an oil spill. That's just wishful thinking. So, and we also didn't know that those headaches and sore throats and dizziness and skin rashes, that really wasn't a cold or a flu. We didn't know that because Exxon was out there saying, hey, stuff is as safe as pancake syrup. Don't worry about it. We've got little vest monitoring patches on people that are monitoring the air quality. You would think if somebody told you that then they would follow up if it was dangerous and let you know, right? No. All the information is hidden in court. Let me just borrow some truth for a second here. Where did that big fat one go? Jesse, right behind you. Ronnie, Riki. Okay, here we go. So what happened was, as I put the story together of, okay, so how I came to write this book was because the scientists were all writing scientific studies. You can't, a normal person can't understand a scientific paper. It's ridiculous. So I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in Wisconsin, and when I was 13 years old, robins were falling out of the sky. I'd walk to school, plump. And even a 13-year-old knows there's something wrong if birds are falling out of the sky. So I went to my dad. My dad was a paper salesman. I said, why? Why? And Dad put my hands like this. He put a robin in them that was dying, and he explained about DDT. And then he gave me Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. And I really believe now that kids 12, 13, 14 years old are making some very, if they hit the right person at the right time, they make decisions that can change their lives right then. And I read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, and she was a marine biologist. And I was amazed that a person could know so much and write it in a way that an ordinary person like my dad, he wasn't a scientist, he could understand it and take action. My dad sued the state of Wisconsin over DDT. Not necessarily for the birds, but he didn't want his kids getting sick, and I saw that. And so then the whole rest of the nation banned it. It was because of my dad, okay? Yeah, and when my dad was dying, well, before he did, he was 85, 87 he made it to, but he had a list of places he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Point Reyes Station. Sorry, I'm diverging, but this is important. And I said, why? And he gave me that you dumb kid look, and it was like, well, the brown pelicans. That's where the last DDT battle was fought, at Point Reyes Station, because they wanted to build a manufacturing plant there, and what shut it down was brown pelicans. And I know you all have brown pelicans down here. So I've been seeing them, and I've been thinking of my dad. So, I mean, it's kind of a cool link. But, so I read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, and I said, that's it. I want to become a marine scientist, like Rachel Carson. And I was 14. And, you know, be careful what you ask for, because, so I tried to write a book that had a lot of information in it so people could understand it. So, I get through the ecosystem stuff, I piece all that together. The scientists were all writing studies that nobody could understand. This is important. If we're going to mobilize social change, if oil really is this toxic, we got to be more careful about not spilling it, at least as we're working towards getting off it. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But people started calling me as early as May of 1989. And I thought, oh, OSHA will take care of them. Oh, Exxon Medical will take care of them. These I'm not a medical doctor, so people will take care of the sick workers. No, sick workers keep calling me. So I end up going to court records and discovering in the court records 6,722 cases of upper respiratory illnesses. Each of these bars is 1 week of work, the number of sick people. Clinical data that Exxon medical doctors were collecting and not sharing with OSHA. So I'm digging around in the court records. I mean, why me? Why not, you know, somebody professional? So then I discover Exxon's air quality monitoring data. Remember the vest patches I told you about? The air quality monitoring data shows the workers were also overexposed. This was not shared with OSHA. OSHA was chased off the beaches, and because Exxon, I'm getting Exxon BP. Exxon said, we'll handle it. We'll do all the sampling. Don't worry. OSHA thought that then they would share the data, and Exxon at the end of the spill said, so long, see ya, tied up all the data in court. And then when I uncovered it, Exxon came swooping down and sealed the court records so that